A drugs line linked to the use of firearms has been dismantled and its members jailed for more than 40 years, thanks to an investigation led by specialist detectives. The county line, branded nuts by those involved, operated from Croydon, London, to see runners supply crack cocaine and heroin in the Harwich area. Detectives with Operation Raptor police teams focused on tackling County Line's gangs, worked with Metropolitan Police colleagues to identify the criminals behind the supply. Incidents of violence, including threats with firearms, were linked to the activity of the nuts line. Starting with the drug runners low down the chain, Operation Raptor detectives built their case against those responsible for running the line and making the profit. This work resulted in the identification of 6 offenders. Jordan James, 33, was identified as the head of the line, already serving a prison sentence for unrelated matters at the time of our strikes against other suspects. He was interviewed and charged with supplying crack cocaine and heroin. Devier Young, 31, operated as James's right-hand man, managing the line and making significant financial gain. Etienne Dacuna and Dennis da Silva Costa, both 32, were identified as the trusted lieutenants responsible for delivering fresh stocks of drugs to the runners. Our investigation found they frequently travelled from London to Harwich to maintain the supply of crack cocaine and heroin. Alfie Sanchez, 21, and Jason Anderson, 50, were identified as drug line phone holders and runners for the operation. Sanchez was initially linked to the investigation following a stop and search carried out by our patrolling officers in Harwich in May 2023. The search uncovered a drug line phone, a knife and cannabis. Anderson was linked to the line after 2 arrests in May and June 2023. On each occasion, he was carrying wraps of drugs and drug line phones. In May, he was carrying a knife. After building our investigation alongside the Metropolitan Police, officers executed coordinated warrants at addresses in Harwich, Clacton, Colchester, Stratford and Croydon in February 2024. Operation Raptor were supported by the Neighbourhood Policing and Operational Support Group, officers enforcing entry to the addresses and carrying out searches. Young tried and failed to flee our officers. A drone was deployed which traced his movements into a neighbouring property. When officers entered this address, they found Young trying to flush large quantities of cannabis and crack cocaine down the toilet and sink. He had also discarded a set of keys which led officers to a parked van. 2 viable handguns and a quantity of 9mm ammunition were recovered from inside the vehicle. Alongside drugs, Young's address also housed jewellery, watches and designer trainers worth $127,000. As proceeds of his criminality, these items were seized. Young, Dacuna and Da Silva Costa denied charges of conspiring to supply crack cocaine and heroin. Young further denied 2 counts of possession of a firearm, possession of ammunition, possession with intent to supply cannabis, and possession of criminal property. Each were convicted on all charges following a trial at Chelmsford Crown Court in September 2024. Anderson admitted conspiring to supply crack cocaine and heroin, possession with intent to supply crack cocaine and heroin, and possession of an offensive weapon. Sanchez admitted conspiring to supply crack cocaine and heroin, possession with intent to supply cannabis, and 2 counts of possession of a bladed article and possession of cannabis. 5 of the offenders appeared for sentence at the same court on Tuesday the 17th of June. They were sentenced as follows. James of HMP Pentonville received 9 years and 2 months imprisonment. Young of Martham Street, London received 15 years and 6 months imprisonment. Da Silva Costa of Priory Road, Clacton received 8 years and 2 months. Anderson of Stour Close, Dovercourt received 6 years and 9 months imprisonment. Sanchez of Riley Avenue, Jaywick received 3 years and 3 months imprisonment. Dacuna of Hanbury Gardens, Colchester will be sentenced at a later date. Detective Constable Matthew Hall, officer in the case, said, "These are substantial sentences passed down on each member of a high-harm drug line. For the people of Essex, that means a county line gang dismantled and a supply line from London to Harwich cut in its entirety. The recovery of knives and firearms in this case illustrates how violence, exploitation and threats to go hand in hand with county lines drug supply. This is why we have teams working solely on this issue. Where we disrupt these supply lines, we disrupt the criminals intent on fueling wider issues like violence and antisocial behaviour. It's why our work has seen a significant reduction in wider knife-enabled crime in Essex and the removal of a number of prolific offenders from the streets of our county. The message cases like this send is clear. Drug dealers cannot and do not operate with impunity in Essex." Please like this video, please comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.